I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, July the 19th, brought to you in part by VitaFirm, by Biozyme, and their Lucky 7 campaign. Biozyme has 7 different products that will have a Lucky 7 sticker on the bag. If you find a token in that bag, you get a prize. There's 4 different kinds of prizes, including cash and gift cards. For more information, go to vitafirm.com. Enough heat, and I don't know about you guys, but I've had enough of this heat. I'm looking forward to fall. Everybody else is. This heat dome that's been setting over the southern plains and then here recently the northern plains, I mean, it has taken its toll. Day in, day out, well over 100 degrees. You get to the places that have some humidity and your heat index is 110 or more. We still haven't had any kind of measurable moisture in Texas, especially in and around the central Texas areas where you're predominantly your biggest populations of cattle are. They're continuing to see big runs there. It's killed the cow market. As I told you on the last visit, it takes one hell of a cow to bring 90, where just a few weeks ago they were all bringing well over $1. And 85 would be a heck of a price and a lot of sales to see a good high yield and kill cow sell for now. And the calves are not selling all that great either, because I've told you many times it's hard to get excited about buying calves when their tongues are hanging out. Now, green grass yearlings that are coming right off the grass, especially in places like the Flint Hills and the Osage, and even over in southern Missouri. Joplin had another big yearling special on Monday. They're selling good. Those cattle are going to feed really well, and those cattle are acclimated to it and they can stand the heat, but that doesn't mean that they're not worried about those cattle in the heat. Joplin Regional Stockyards was going well before 5 o'clock in the morning on Monday to get the bulk of the cattle sold before it got too hot. Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, they're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning here on Tuesday, and that's not typical for them. It's just so hot and so dry, and we saw here early in the week that heat is taking a toll on our western corn belt, especially. That corn's starting to roll up a little bit, and it has really been dry in that part of the country too. We just wish this dome would move on and get out of the way where we can get some normal type of systems coming through. But the eastern corn belt has been getting moisture, and more moisture than what we thought they were probably going to get. And you talk to the people in the eastern corn belt, and I'm talking about Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, places like that, even eastern Iowa. They're looking at a really good crop out there. And of course, anytime I say the crop is good, I got a bunch of haters on there that say, well, that shows how much you know. It's dry here in my hometown. I try to look at things over a kind of a bigger area, which, you don't get small-minded in things. There's always places that are dry. If I was, getting small-minded, that's all I would talk about is how hot and dry it is, because that's the way it is where I live. But talk to people all over and look at things in a big area. But this heat has really taken a toll. It's taken a toll on your fat cattle market. Your packers they got the leverage back in their favor, even in the northern plains where they've got very current show lists. And just talking about the show list, I don't know how many of y'all look at that, but I've told you many times I don't look at that hardly ever. Somebody did send it to me on Monday, and it showed that the show lists were a whole lot heavier in the northern plains, and they were smaller in the southern plains. Now, what kind of sense would that make? And who would answer somebody honestly if they called and asked them about a show list? But the northern plains lost ground last week. Southern plains lost ground. Of course, they don't have much of a fight in them. Your dress market was sure lower. That's predominantly in the northern plains. But just tell you what, we are in the dog days of summer right now. Now, still, don't be thinking that this calf and feeder cattle market is not going to be really good as we go forward. It is. We've slaughtered a lot of cows. We've sold off a lot of cattle. The biggest populations of cattle have been in the feedlots, not that many out. We get done cleaning up all the cattle that are turned out, we're going to really know how short of cattle we are. And your fat cattle are going to continue to stay current and green as we go on later this year. So I'm not saying that it's, that we're not in an up market, but we're short term, we're not in an up market, especially on our fat cattle trade. But we saw yearlings sell pretty well on Monday, and I'll share some of those with you towards the end. But I want to give a shout out to the Calgary Stampede's International Livestock Auctioneer Championship contest there. That is one of the most well-ran and by far the most fun livestock auctioneer contests that I've ever been involved with. I've been lucky enough to be asked to be a judge at that contest once, and I competed in that contest once, and I enjoyed both of those. But it's a lot more fun to be the judge than it is a contestant, because if you're a contestant you just get nervous, and if you're a judge you get one of those all access passes, and you can go just about anywhere until they finally get to a spot that they wouldn't let me crawl in the chutes, but I could get right up to them. But it's a lot of fun. I have people come and get you and take you wherever you want to go if you have one of those judges passes. But that is a really top-notch livestock auctioneer contest, and I know that they have them on the corner of every street, seems like, anymore. They are going to be having a No Borders livestock auctioneer contest down in Florida, and my friend Marcus Kent's going to be kind of hosting that. I believe that's this weekend, but I wish the guys luck to get into that. But would have liked to have gone up to Calgary, but I have not had the jab. I've gone this long without getting it. I'm never getting it. And so you still have to have the jab to go to the woke country of Canada. And I told you guys last week that they changed the name of the Canadian Cattlemen's Association to Canadian Cattle Association, so it wouldn't offend anybody. But I don't know if they asked the cattle whether they wanted that to happen or not. But still, they had a great contest up there. I wished I was there. Some of my favorite people are Canadian. Several come to mind, but Darcy Sheets is definitely one of them. Rob Bergevin is definitely one of them. He's one of the board members of the ILAC, and he always makes sure that contest goes really well. And they had a lot of good contestants from both north of the Canadian border and south of it, and they usually have some guys from South Africa, and I hadn't heard whether those guys were there or not, but I did hear that my friend Wade Leist won the contest, and he is sure deserving of that. He is a great auctioneer. He's a good guy. He's world class. He will win all the contests that he enters at some point. But he's a guy from Michigan, but he sells a lot of cattle in South Dakota and travels around quite a bit, knows what he's doing, and does a really good job. So congratulations to him. And congratulations to the Calgary Stampede International Livestock Auctioneer Championship Board and everybody that's involved with putting that on. And sure looked like everybody was having a good time. Let's talk about your board for Monday. August live cattle futures were up 70 cents at 135.62. October up $1.05 at 140.60. Your back months on your live cattle up 42 cents to up 72 cents. Feeder cattle contracts for August up 32 cents at 176.67. September was down a quarter, 179.42. Your back months on feeder cattle down 12 to up 67 cents. So that was the farthest out traded month, was your up 67 cents there. But on your grains, they were all pretty much higher too, and then pretty good day for commodities. Even though we have heard that a lot of your managed funds are being pulled out of commodities with interest going up and things like that, there's places that they can put them that's a whole lot safer and they know more about. But corn futures for new crop corn up 7 cents on Chicago Board of Trade at 610 and 3/4 cents. Beans for November new crop up 38 cents at 13.80 1/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for September right here getting on the backside of harvest up 36.5 cents at 8.74 bushel. Weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade in your 5-area feeding region, 74,700 head pure negotiated, which is very disappointing, but still better than the weak volume last week of 61,700, and the same week volume from the same week ago, a year ago, at 60,900 head. But last week's sales, live sales, steers and heifers ranged from 136 to 149, and that was $1 to $2 lower. Your Southern Plains was 136 late, mostly 137. Northern Plains was mostly 145 and 230. But your weighted average on live steers in the 5-area feeding region come out to be 142.12. That's still a big premium to what our August live cattle futures spot month is, but it's being pulled down by the Southern Plains and it's trading in the middle there. But 142.12 weighted average on live steers and your 5-area feeding region was down $2.23 from the previous week, so that's a pretty significant loss there. Dress sales were $6 lower from 224 to 232. Weighted average on dressed steers come out to be 229.48, and that was $2.74 lower than the previous week's weighted average on dressed steers. Nationwide negotiated sales come out to be only 85,200 head, and 29% of that, or just a little over 29%, was for the 2 to 4 week delivery. So they're buying cattle out front to keep this market under pressure in the heat. But 85,200 head negotiated, 44,300 negotiated grid. Forward contracts only 16,300 head, and formula sweetheart sales of 298,500 head. That's what we're working against, guys, with this Cattle Price Discovery and Transparency Act. We're not saying that they can't trade formula cattle. We just want them to trade at least a minimum requirement, and we're keeping that percentage steady with what we've done the last couple of years on maintaining some type of a negotiated price and some price transparency there, guys. But can't believe anybody would be against that and be able to look at themselves in the mirror. But box beef cutout values were higher on Monday. Choice cuts up 164 Monday afternoon at 270.55, and that's trading really well, even though we're in the part of the year where it normally slacks off because it's too damn hot to go outside and turn the grill on. But selects Monday afternoon up 87 cents at 240.260. Talk about what else is going on. Beaver County stockyards, Beaver, Oklahoma. That's on the east side of no man's land, that Oklahoma panhandle there that nobody wanted to claim for so long, or another name for it is Robbers Roost. And then those robbers and outlaws and all those people, they stayed there because the law didn't come get them, and then they had kids and they set down roots, and that's why those people there about half crazy. I tell Jeff Slatton stuff like that all the time, and he owns and manages the Beaver County stockyards there, and I told you earlier they're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is very atypical of them. They've got 3,500 head in Beaver, Oklahoma for their sale on Tuesday, at least 30 loads of green grass yearlings, guys. And he said normally they sell those loads one at a time, but he says we want to get through these cattle before it gets too hot, and we may double up and sell 2 loads at a hunch, you know, whenever when they're selling those cattle. But get on to dvauction.com. You can view and bid that sale. Call them ahead of time if you're interested in buying off of there. They've got several consignments of calves and a lot of cows coming. And he said people are selling cows. They're getting rid of anything they can because it's so dry there in Oklahoma Panhandle. Nothing for those cattle to eat. And he's expecting a couple of consignments of bred cows on there too. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. For Monday, your real-time index on DV auction ended the day at 171.70. That was up 10 cents, 100. compared to the end of last week, and some of our markets were lower, but it didn't pull your weighted average lower, or your 7-day moving average for your index price there. But Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards, 12,400 head there. Feeder steers were $4 to $7 lower, called by good market reporting there, so it has sure been that. Feeder heifers unevenly steady. Calves were $3 to $5 lower. It was hot. Still had some pretty impressive quotes there, including one from National Livestock. 144 head of steers weighed 768 at 171 1/4 at Oklahoma National Stockyards there. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 9,600 head, just come up barely short of the 10,000 they were hoping to get, but another big impressive run of many loads of yearlings there. And the market was even better than a week ago, and it is our Zoetis stick out sale of the day, because they were able to continue to have all these loads and nearly 100 loads of yearling feeders there at Joplin after they had the big yearling special a week ago, after the big bang sale on Primetime Livestock Video, and even a yearling special the week before that. But it's unbelievable how many yearling feeders, and mostly in load lots, at Joplin Regional Stockyards is sold. But talk about a stick out sale on some lighter weights there, yearling types. 131 head of 662 pound steers in Carthage, Missouri at Joplin Regional Stockyards brings 205. Now that's the kind of price you might see out in the Sand Hills of Nebraska or something, guys, but they can get it there too. Sell some high quotes there at Joplin. Give you some other individual quotes around the circuit and some places that I don't talk about very often, and never talked about this first one, but Pruitt's Mid-State Stockyards in Damascus, Arkansas. Now that's a sale. They sell a lot of them one at a time there, but they had a load of heart-sugged heifers in there. 77 head of these heifer calves that was bought light and then backgrounded and put into a load there. And I think you guys in the Southeast should do more of that, because that really adds value to your cattle. They'll bring nearly as much as they will anywhere, and much better than they will a ball and calf. But if you can keep those light calves local, put them together, make some nice bunches out of them, and make yearlings out of them, they sell pretty good. But 77 heifers in Damascus, Arkansas, weighed 649 and bring $163 there, right through the ring. How about another southeastern market? Mid-South Livestock in Unionville, Tennessee, had the Massey heifers there. 64 head of heifers, weighed 763. It's hard to make a heifer weigh that much just on grass, guys, at 159.10. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Monday in your National Beef Wire top quote for the day come out of Tri-State Livestock Auction in McCook, Nebraska. 65 head, 836 pound steers, bring $175.50. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.